YAHWEH, Nun Sofit YAHWEH. Selah. Welcome to Black Gods of Yahweh Media. Now, obviously, you guys know I don't make videos as frequently as I once did. I consider myself moving from the teaching era or area so much as I once was. If you actually go look at my videos in Black Gods of Yahweh Media, I've done a lot of talking. I've done a lot of teaching. And you never get to the point to where you stop doing that when you are in the knowledge of Yahweh. But you kind of graduate from speaking to actual physical building. And I'm working on projects right now doing that with other members who love Yahweh. But I woke up, was taking a nap today, and at 1:44, and I looked at my computer, and I opened up a story, and I knew it was time for me to put out a message. That was Yahweh telling me it's time for you to get back to work on your YouTube page. And I opened up an article from Slate, and Hollywood is still failing to tell one of Black America's most horrifying stories. Now, they're talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma, you can see here, in one of the murals that was put up. The first thing I have to address is that this is one of the most horrifying stories, but not close to the most. The most horrifying story was the 96 million of the so-called Black Americans, children of Yahweh, who were murdered coming over here by colonialists who are the progenitors of the modern white race that runs the country. But looking at this particular story, Hollywood doesn't want to tell this story, and this is very complex. If you go to Slate, you can find it. I got it from MSN.com. If you go there or you pull up Slate and Google Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, this will probably come up. And I've done videos about this. But this has to be spoken about in different angles because it's very complex. Hollywood doesn't want to tell this story because then the world has to know the truth. Many of us don't understand the effort that's put into hiding the truth from foreigners about us. And this is one that's very close and near and dear to me. That's part of the curses of Deuteronomy, and I'll show you that later. Is that people believe that we are permanent underclass and second-class citizens. Now, we are second-class citizens as it pertains to how the dominant society views us, not how we view ourselves. But they have interest in foreigners when they step off the plane in lying to them and giving them propaganda about us being lazy and they don't want to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, yada, yada, yada. You've heard it all. Just think about something. For the so-called white men who are the children of Cain, the ones that are confederate in oppressing us, as it says in the scripture, they haven't been able to annihilate us in 400 years. So they need help doing this. And what other ways to find help is to bring strangers and foreigners in the country and use them to economically oppress us. That's also a part of destroying a people. You can see many Hispanics on the police force that are joining in the wholesale slaughter of our people as well, just like the so-called white man and Asian people and other races. You can see that. And they don't want to tell the truth. And the foreigner, they're not interested in knowing the truth. Why? Because that means that they don't have to do more than just come here and compete against one group. So the foreigner is absolutely enjoying the fact that they can come to America and reap the benefits and only have to deal with one particular group, rising against the so-called white man. When they come here, they automatically know that they don't have to work hard to be be above us. They don't have to work hard at that. For the simple fact is that when they come here, they're already told that we're a permanent underclass, and they feed into the propaganda and they join in on the oppression. They do it economically and physically. And I want to add something to that because I've been to other countries. And with the exception of Canada and the UK, in order to get citizenship and to come to America like many foreigners do, many of them can come illegal and then become millionaires at the end of the day. In other countries, you almost have to buy your way into citizenship. Like I said, with the exception of Canada and the UK, because I've been to every corner of the globe, you need about $100,000 in the bank to start your citizenship in other countries. So many other countries make it impossible for any American to go in and to be successful like they're able to come to America. You would think how crazy that is. If you really look at the relationship that the so-called white man, the dumbest society, have with Asians and Arabs, it's pretty much they're actually at the bottom as it pertains to the intellectuality of coming to America and rising. They're actually at the bottom as it pertains to understanding what foreigners are actually doing in America. They don't understand what's actually going on. They're so busy concerned with oppressing us, the children of Yahweh, the so-called African American, that the Asian population, by the numbers, are almost completely non-homeless and in non-poverty. By the numbers, Asian Americans are the wealthiest people in America right now, percentage-wise. A lot of people don't even know that. When you see a homeless person, it's usually a black, white, or maybe Hispanic. Generally, it's black and white. Just think about that when you see a homeless person. Very rarely do you see an Asian American. By the numbers, they're more wealthier even than already come to the country and super exceeded the children of the colonialists. The children of Cain needs help because they're dying off of low birth rate, drugs, violence in their own community. So they need assistance in oppressing us. And this is the reason why the foreigner can come to America and thrive. I've said it time and time again. In every major city in America, there's a German town, a Jewish town, a little Italy. All groups have built a nation within a nation in America. Now we're going to go to scripture and we're going to look at this. We're going to go to scripture and we're going to go to Deuteronomy 28 and 43. And we're going to take a look at one of the curses that we have endured. Deuteronomy 28 and 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high. Who is the stranger? That could be said to be everyone except the children of Yahweh, except the tribe of Judah. But in this particular verse, it's talking about the foreigner. And thou shalt come down very low. As you see here, it's part of the curses of Deuteronomy that we face. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. So this is the process that you see almost daily, where foreigners who are the strangers amongst thee can come here and rise. If you didn't know, it's right here in Deuteronomy. So if you wanted to know why that so many other groups are able to prey economically on the so-called black American, who is the children of Yahweh, who's able to come here and oppress us economically and physically through government and through policing, it's right here. And how they're able to rise up and to get rich while we continue to fall very low. Now, everybody has seen my video about the Black Wall Street in Miami. That's those who watch me, subscribe and unsubscribe. So we're going to take a look at a couple of more prominent black communities in certain points of America. We're going to take a look at the Marcus Garvey movement. Now, you can research Marcus Garvey, but I went specifically with the Black Star Line. And this is the shipping corporation that was created by Marcus Garvey. The Black Star Line was a shipping line incorporated by Marcus Garvey, the organizer of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, the UNIA, and other members of the UNIA. The shipping line was created to facilitate the transportation of goods and eventually African Americans throughout the African global economy. Now just think about that. In the early 1900s, we had a shipping line. And of course, I'm not going to read all of it, but you can research the Black Star Line. Marcus Garvey, who started his company or his organization in Harlem. Yes, he is from Jamaica, but Marcus Garvey did most of his economic and black universal work in the United States. I'm going to read a little bit more. The Black Star Line was incorporated as a Delaware corporation of June 27, 1919, having a maximum capitalization of 500,000 BSL. Shares were sold at UNIA convention at $5 each. So Marcus Garvey created a whole lot of wealth. 6 months after incorporating, the board of directors voted to increase the Black Star Line market capitalization to $10 million, equivalent to $149 million in 2020. You see that? So everybody knows about Black Wall Street, thanks to social media and TV, but the Marcus Garvey movement that was uniting Pan-Africanism, and of course we all know about Umar Johnson, who's talked about this. This is a true story, and many of our people don't know about that. Don't know the rich history that we have as the children of Yahweh in America. But take your time to research Marcus Garvey and the Black Star Line and the businesses and industry that he created. Now I'm going to go to an area that very few black people know, in Wilmington, North Carolina. And you can go to starnsonline.com, as you can see here. Starnes, STARNEWS online.com. It's a very peculiar pronunciation. And you can pull up information about Wilmington, North Carolina, and you can actually do that on your own, many different sources in Google. And in chapter 1, Wilmington was a symbol of black achievement. At the close of the 19th century, Wilmington was a symbol of black hope in a post-Civil War era of America. The largest and most important city in North Carolina, it had a black majority population, 11,324 so-called African Americans and 8,731 whites. The beautiful port city of Cape Fear, about 30 miles upriver from the open Atlantic, boasted electric lights, streetcars, when much of the state lumbered along in darkness. Its port did not quite match those of Savannah and Charleston, but it shipped tons of cotton around the world. Wilmington's middling prosperity rested upon its black majority. Blacks owned 10 of the city's 11 eating houses and 20 of its 22 barbershops. Black entrepreneur Thomas Miller was one of Wilmington's 3 real estate agents. The city's business district listed black-owned Bell and Pickens as one of only 4 dealers and shippers of fish and oysters. Many of Wilmington's most sought-after craftsmen were also black: jewelers, watchmakers, tailors, mechanics, furniture makers, blacksmiths, shoemakers, stone masons, plasterers, plumbers, wheelwrights, and brick masons. Frederick Sagwar, an African-American architect, finance to his talents and industry today. So Wilmington, North Carolina in the 19th century was a bustling, powerful black economic city. And many people don't know about Wilmington, North Carolina. We have a rich history, a very rich history. And the reason why Hollywood, getting back to our original story, will never talk about our achievements is because they have to let the world know that before integration, we were an industrious, self-sufficient, and independent people. So if Hollywood tells the story, then they will be telling the entire world of just one of those communities that we possessed. And then people will start to do their research and see that. And the rest of the world don't want to see about it, actually. Many of them don't, because they are going along with the oppression. They are confederate in the destruction of the so-called Black American so they can achieve. So, I hope you enjoyed this particular video today. I want to say peace and Shabbat Shalom, which will start tomorrow evening at sunset. And I will talk to you guys again in the next video.